Our family was the epitome of perfection in Pine Hollow. My father owned a thriving construction firm, and he made sure his philanthropy was splashed across the local papers. My mother led the town's botanical society, orchestrating the yearly gala to support the pediatric ward. We weren't just locals in Pine Hollow, we were its cornerstones. The pressure to uphold this flawless image was suffocating. If I ever grumbled about my brother, Ethan, or expressed any discontent, my mother would hush me with, "We don't display our flaws publicly, Emma. The Carter family is admired." My father was blunter. "Ethan will inherit the company one day. His name must stay untarnished." My emotions toward my family were a tangled mess of affection, resentment, obligation, and a craving for their approval. I loved them because they were my kin, but as I matured, I recognized the poison in our dynamic. Yet, years of conditioning made it hard to trust my instincts. When I felt wronged, a voice echoing my mother's would whisper that I was too sensitive or ungrateful. After earning my medical degree, I completed my residency in Boston, giving me 2 liberating years away from Pine Hollow and my family. The distance brought perspective, and with a therapist's guidance, though I told my parents it was just a stress coach, I saw how unhealthy our family's behavior was. But when my residency ended, a job offer came from a clinic in Pine Hollow. Despite my hesitations, I took it. Logically, it made sense. The position offered loan forgiveness for my hefty medical school debt. Emotionally, I still yearned for my family's acceptance, hoping our bond could improve. When I returned, early signs showed nothing had changed. At my homecoming dinner, Ethan monopolized the conversation with boasts about his recent promotion in our father's firm. When I tried sharing a fascinating case from my residency, my mother cut in to ask if I'd met any eligible men in Boston. I saw the warning signs but ignored them, convincing myself things would differ now that I was a professional adult. I was wrong. The night that changed everything was meant to celebrate Ethan's rise to vice president of operations at our father's company. My mother had spent days preparing, cooking Ethan's favorite dishes and decorating the dining room with congratulatory banners. I arrived early to help set the table and toss a salad, hoping my involvement would make me feel part of the family's joy. I'd bought a bottle of Ethan's favorite bourbon as a gift, stretching my budget after moving into my new apartment. I wanted to believe that as adults, we could be a normal, caring family. The evening started smoothly. My father uncorked a costly bottle of wine, and my mother served her renowned roast lamb. Ethan was in high spirits, accepting praise for his new role with his usual swagger, teetering on arrogance. He was on his second bourbon by the time we sat down, which wasn't unusual. "To Ethan," my father toasted, raising his glass. "Following my path and surpassing my hopes, Carter Construction is secure with you in charge someday." We clinked glasses, and I offered my own praise. "The company's fortunate to have you, Ethan. Your clients on the Lakeside project seem thrilled with your work." Ethan nodded smugly. "You bet they are. I salvaged that project after Wilson nearly wrecked it." The meal progressed pleasantly. My mother asked about my new role at the clinic, but her curiosity felt shallow. Ethan was nearing his 3rd bourbon when he started talking about his girlfriend of 6 months, Lauren. "We're thinking about living together," he said. "Her lease ends soon, and she's practically at my place every night anyway." My mother smiled, but I noticed a slight tension in her expression. She'd always thought couples should marry before cohabiting. "Lauren's wonderful," I said sincerely, having met her a few times and found her smart and kind. "She mentioned last time we talked that she hopes we'll visit her family's cabin this summer." Ethan's face clouded. "When did you talk to Lauren?" "We bumped into each other at the market last week," I replied. "We chatted briefly. She's really sweet." "What else did she say?" Ethan's tone sharpened. I shrugged, confused by his sudden edge. "Not much. She said something about your dad's boat needing fixes before you visit." "She should mind her own business about my family," Ethan snapped. The table fell quiet. My mother stared at her plate, and my father coughed awkwardly. "Ethan, she didn't say anything negative," I said softly. "It was just small talk." "Last month, she had the gall to call our family overwhelming," Ethan ranted, his voice rising. "As if her family's perfect, with her gambling cousin and kleptomaniac brother." "I'm sure she meant no harm," my mother said, clearly trying to diffuse things. But Ethan wasn't listening, his inhibitions dulled by the bourbon. "And now she's gossiping about us to you behind my back." "It wasn't like that," I insisted. "It was just friendly chatter," Ethan scoffed. "Always so flawless, aren't you, Emma? The doctor, the perfect daughter. Everyone's darling." The irony of his words almost made me laugh, but I knew better than to point it out. "Ethan, I think you're misreading this. Don't tell me what I get," he barked, slamming his glass down, spilling bourbon on the tablecloth. My mother flinched silently. My father finally spoke. "Son, let's calm down. This is a celebration." Ethan stood abruptly, his chair scraping loudly. "I need some air." He stormed toward the kitchen. After a tense pause, my mother suggested dessert. I offered to clear plates, using it as an excuse to check on Ethan and maybe smooth things over. I found him in the kitchen, pouring another generous bourbon. "Ethan, I'm sorry if I upset you," I said quietly, setting the dishes down. "I didn't mean to." He turned, his eyes red. "You always do this, playing innocent while causing trouble." "That's not fair," I protested. "I was just talking about Lauren. I like her." "Stay out of my relationship," he snapped, stepping closer. "And stop cozying up to my girlfriend to dig up dirt on me." "That's not what happened," I replied, frustration rising. "Why would I do that?" "Because you're jealous," he sneered. "Of Dad's company, Mom's attention, everything. You hate that I'm thriving while you're still scraping by with loans." His words stung, so far from reality that I laughed in shock. "Are you serious?" That laugh was like a spark to kindling. Ethan's face twisted with rage. "Don't you laugh at me!" Before I could react, he shoved me hard. I stumbled back, my lower back slamming into the sharp edge of the kitchen island. Pain exploded in my chest and I crumpled to the floor, gasping for breath. My parents rushed in at the noise. My mother gasped, seeing me on the ground. My father froze. "What happened?" my mother asked, looking between us. "She tripped," Ethan said quickly. "She fell." I couldn't speak, the pain stealing my breath. Every inhale sent sharp stabs through my chest. My mother knelt beside me. "Emma, can you stand, sweetie?" My father pulled Ethan aside, hissing, "What did you do?" "Nothing." "She's faking it," Ethan insisted, though his shaky voice betrayed him. With my mother's help, I sat up, wincing in agony. "He pushed me," I managed to say. "I hit the counter." My mother's eyes flickered with concern and something else, calculation. "I'm sure it was an accident," she said smoothly. "Ethan wouldn't hurt you on purpose." "But he did," I said, "and it's not the first time, just the worst." "I think I need a hospital," I added, breathing shallowly. "It hurts to breathe." "Let's not rush," my father said, stepping forward. "Take some painkillers and rest. We'll check tomorrow." I couldn't believe it. "I'm a doctor. I know what broken ribs feel like." "I need to go now." "I'll drive you," my mother offered. "I'll drive myself," I said, desperate to escape. Despite the pain, I grabbed my purse and keys, refusing help. As I shuffled to the door, I overheard my father whispering sternly to Ethan. The drive home was torture, every pothole jolting my chest. I should have gone to the ER, but shock drove me home. I took painkillers from my medical kit, hoping to manage. That night was endless, the pain keeping me upright in a chair, dozing fitfully. By morning, the pain hadn't eased, and a deep purple bruise spread across my side. I could barely move without gasping. I knew I needed medical care, no matter what my family wanted. My phone rang, my mother's tone. I let it go to voicemail. She called again. "Emma, how are you?" she asked lightly, as if I had a minor ache. "Not good," I said. "I'm in serious pain. I can't move." "It always feels worse the next day," she said dismissively. "Take some aspirin and ice it." "About last night?" "Mom, I think my ribs are broken," I said. "Ethan hurt me badly." Silence. "Then, sweetheart, it was an unfortunate mishap. Let's not exaggerate." "Has Ethan apologized?" I asked, knowing he hadn't. "He will," she said. "He was upset after leaving. We need to move past this." I groaned as I shifted, pain flaring. "Mom, I can't breathe without pain. This isn't something to ignore." "It's probably just bruised," she said. "If it was that bad, you'd have gone to the hospital last night." Her gaslighting was infuriating. "I'm getting it checked today," I said firmly. "Emma," she said, her tone sharp, "we should keep this private. No need to involve outsiders in a brief lapse of temper." "Outsiders? I'm talking about a doctor for an injury." "You know what I mean," she said quickly. "Forms, questions, records. It could look bad." "Are you asking me not to get treatment because it might hurt Ethan's reputation?" I asked, stunned. "I'm asking you to think of the consequences," she said. "Your father's business relies on our standing. Ethan's set to take over. A misunderstanding like this could ruin things." "A misunderstanding?" I repeated. "He shoved me and broke my ribs. That's assault." "Don't say that," she snapped. "Your brother would never assault you. He drank too much and it was an accident." Before I could respond, my father's voice came through. "Emma," he said, his businesslike tone on, "how are you?" "Like Ethan broke my ribs," I said. He sighed heavily. "Your mother says you're thinking of seeing a doctor. That's hasty. Wait a day or two." "Dad, I'm a doctor. I know what broken ribs feel like." "Then you know there's little they can do," he countered. "Rest and pain meds, which you can do at home." He wasn't wrong, but that wasn't the issue. "I need an X-ray to check for displacement that could harm a lung." "And what will you say about how it happened?" he asked, his tone pointed. "The truth," I said simply. A long pause followed. "Emma, think carefully. Ethan's worked hard for his position, his future, our reputation. These aren't things to risk over a fleeting mistake." "So his future matters, but my injury doesn't?" "Don't twist my words," he said sharply. "I care about you, but there are bigger considerations. Ethan messed up, but he doesn't deserve to lose everything." The call dragged on, my father minimizing my injury and stressing Ethan's future. By the end, it was clear. My pain was secondary to protecting Ethan and the family name. My phone buzzed with a text from my mother. "Sent you a little gift to cheer you up. Love you." A delivery arrived, a lavish basket with painkillers, a heating pad, fancy soaps, and my favorite candies. The note read, "Rest and heal, family first. Love, Mom and Dad." It felt like a payoff to buy my silence. I set it aside, sickened. The calls kept coming. My mother checked in hourly, each talk circling back to keeping things quiet. My father called twice more, his tone growing firmer, stressing family duty. Ethan finally called. I almost didn't answer, but wanted to hear him out. "Hey," he mumbled, subdued. "Mom said I should call." No apology, just admitting he was calling because she told him to. "Things got out of hand last night," he said vaguely. "I'd been drinking." "You broke my ribs, Ethan." "Come on, I barely pushed you," he shot back. "You probably just bruised them when you fell." "I didn't fall, you shoved me into the counter." "Whatever, I'm calling to fix things, okay? Mom and Dad are freaking out that you'll make this a big deal." "It is a big deal. I'm seriously hurt. We all have rough days," he brushed off. "Remember when you dented my bike in high school? I didn't make a fuss." The comparison was absurd. "Ethan, I have to go. I have a doctor's appointment." "Don't be dumb, Emma," he shouted. "You'll be sorry if you blow this up." A threat? I hung up, hands shaking with pain and rage. I called Sarah, a high school friend who'd returned to Pine Hollow after her divorce, now teaching at our old school. When I told her what happened, her response was what my family's should have been. "My God, Emma, that's awful. Do you want me to drive you to the hospital?" Her kindness brought tears. "I have an appointment with Dr. Carter." She had a slot. "I'm coming with you," Sarah insisted. "Text me the details." "You don't have to," I said, though I craved support. "Yes, I do," she said firmly. "And you're staying with me after. You shouldn't be alone." By the appointment, the pain was unbearable, even with strong ibuprofen. Every breath was agony, and I was short of breath. I couldn't delay, despite my family's pressure. As Sarah drove me, my phone buzzed with texts from my parents, all urging silence and loyalty. But with each mile, my resolve grew. This wasn't right. For the first time, I refused to prioritize my family over myself. The clinic was in a modern building on Pine Hollow's outskirts, far from anyone my parents knew. Sarah helped me inside, and the receptionist, seeing my pain, promised a quick visit. Dr. Laura Carter, a warm woman in her 50s, reminded me of a beloved professor. "Dr. Carter," she said, shaking my hand. "I've heard great things from Dr. Ellis at the clinic. Sorry we're meeting like this." I tried to smile but winced. "Call me Emma, thanks for seeing me so soon." She reviewed my forms. Chest pain and breathing trouble. What happened? My instinct to protect my family clashed with my need for honesty. "An accident," I said vaguely. She gave me a steady look. "What kind?" "I was pushed and hit a counter," I said quickly, pointing to my back. "Who pushed you, Emma?" I hesitated, then whispered, "My brother." "I see," she said gently. "Let's check the injury first, then talk more." The exam was careful but thorough. Dr. Carter noted the bruising and my breathing issues. "We need X-rays," she said. "I suspect at least 2 fractured ribs, maybe 3. The shortness of breath worries me." The X-rays confirmed 3 broken ribs, 1 dangerously displaced, explaining my breathing trouble. Dr. Carter returned, her face grave. "Emma, these are serious injuries. The displaced rib could cause a collapsed lung if not monitored. I'll prescribe pain meds and care instructions, but I need more details about how this happened." I nodded, throat tight. "You said your brother pushed you. Was it playful or intentional?" "Intentional," I whispered. "He was angry, he'd been drinking." "Has this happened before?" I recalled Ethan's rough shoves and grabs growing up. "Not this bad, but yes. He gets physical when mad." She nodded, her face kind but firm. "How has your family reacted?" The floodgates opened. I spilled everything: Ethan's attack, my parents' dismissal, their pressure to stay quiet, the gift basket. They sent soaps and candy, I said, laughing bitterly, pain flaring. Like that fixes broken ribs. Dr. Carter listened, taking notes. Emma, as a doctor, I have to be clear, this is domestic violence. I'm a mandatory reporter. My heart sank. What does that mean? I'm required to report suspected abuse to the police, she said gently. Panic surged. No, you can't. My family would. I stopped, realizing my reaction. Be upset, cut you off, prioritize your brother, she asked softly. It was so clear, yet years of loyalty held me back. It's complicated, I said. I understand, she said, surprising me. In my 20s, my father broke my wrist in a fight. My mother begged me to say I fell. I did, to keep the peace. 2 years later, he hospitalized my mother with a fractured skull. I've wondered ever since if speaking up could have stopped it. Her words hit hard. Was I enabling Ethan? Could he hurt Lauren or others? If a patient came to you with this story, she asked, what would you advise? I knew instantly. Report it. Prioritize safety. Recognize abuse. Applying that to myself felt impossible. What happens if you report? I asked. She explained, a police report, interviews, possible charges, even without my cooperation. It won't be easy, she said. Your family will likely push back, but there are resources, victim advocates, support groups. I sat quietly, weighing my options. Defying my family terrified me, but staying silent, enabling Ethan, was unbearable. Okay, I said, voice steady. Do what you need to, doctor. She squeezed my hand. You're making the right choice, not the easy one. She outlined a treatment plan, gave me a counselor's contact, and advised staying with Sarah. If you feel unsafe, go to the ER or call 911, she said. As Sarah drove me home, I felt fear and relief. I didn't know what lay ahead, but for the first time, I put myself first. It was terrifying, but it felt like freedom.